What is up, guys? Dashing here for episode 643 of Community Universe Mode and edition number 14 of Supremacy. We are just a little over a week away from the grandest stage of them all, Ascendant 7. It is not this weekend, but next weekend. I hope you are all as excited as I am. Ooh, boy! And we have got a hell of a show in store right here, right now, as getting things started. Gonna be the return of the Russian ogre, Guri Sukhanov, as he goes one-on-one with a man he is very familiar with. A history between these two. Bob Luger, a part of tonight's Pick Your Poison between Xander Slate and Bob Luger. Later on tonight, Slate going to be going head-to-head with Randy Borton. Pick your poison, basically meaning that Jade Dynamite gave Slate and Luger the power to choose each other's opponents. We now know that they are going to go mano-a-mano at Ascendance 7, but if you didn't already think things were personal between these two, whew! If you missed it, check out our website, communityuniversemode.com, or communityuniverse.4motion.com. Sometimes I forget that cheeky forum motion sneaking in there. For the exclusive, Xander Slate was on the Osiris show, and, his interview ended up getting a cut short when Bob Luger busted in there and just beat the ever-living hell out of the OG Dirty Heel, throwing him around the entire studio and even going as far as to take his crown, his King of the Ring crown, stole it, and then took off. So is Xander Slate even truly King of the Ring anymore without his crown? And what is Bob Luger going to do with it? What is Bob Luger going to do with this man coming at him in the ring? The former international champion, former Alpha World Champion, the 7-foot-tall, 500-pound Guri Sukhanov, and man, does Xander Slate know how to pick him. The sheer size of this bear, astonishing. We all saw what happened a couple of weeks ago when Bob Luger had his own return match. After being on the show for over 3 months, we thought he was retired for good. Putting up a fight, but taking the L to Brett Angel. Xander Slate said it himself, "You're washed up, Luger. You should have stayed retired, and I'm going to make sure that you do at Ascendance." But, well, Sukhanov might get there before him. But as I mentioned before, these two are no strangers. The work ethic titan has had to step into that ring and stand across from Guri Sukhanov before, and he has overcome the Russian ogre. Is there still ring rust left over, though? If there is, this is going to be the way that Luger knocks it off, because he is going to have to be at 100% when he and Slate square off at the show of shows. Luger has barely been able to keep his hands off of Xander Slate, but at least for now, the show will be able to sit back and be a bit relieved. Of course, he's got Randy Borton later on, but right now, Luger can't afford to look past the Russian ogre. Here we go. Two former Alpha World Champions gonna collide. The first of many pay-per-view main event caliber matches here on tonight's show. Honestly, there's a few collisions going down tonight that could main event Ascendance itself. Later on, we've got Pierre Thompson versus Brett Angel, first time ever. And in our main event, it is PJ Moon versus Hayden. That's going to be a great one, I can already tell. And after what happened last week to PJ Moon, he needs a big win over someone like Hayden to bounce back en route to the main event of Ascendant 7 next weekend, where he will challenge George King for the undisputed World Heavyweight Championship. As Bob Luger's got Suckanov up against the ropes, just hammering away with those fists. Now a waistlock, gets thrown up against the ropes though, catches the punch, overhand, cracks him in the dome, and a float over neck breaker takes down the Giant. Coming up tonight, we've also got an impromptu 8-man over-the-top rope battle royale featuring the 8 superstars who will compete in the Money in the Bank ladder match at Ascendant 7. See who can grab some momentum. Stomp to the bicep, Bob Luger. Smart man, knows that it's going to take a hell of a lot to put down Guri Sukanov here early on, attempting to wear him down and keep him off his feet, but didn't last for long. With ease, Guri Sukanov hoisting Luger up onto his shoulders, just nearly putting him through the canvas with that power slam and grabbing him by the throat, launching him almost out of the ring. Bob Luger, though, reels him in with a short arm shoulder block. Stomp to the knee. Also tonight, guys, Paul Devine is back, and he has called out the Kings, Chris Diamond and Rob Cross, to meet him in the ring, and has been confirmed that at Ascendant 7, it'll be a handicap match, the Kings versus Paul Devine, but apparently Devine has got some words for his adversaries. Look at these power bombs, 3 in a row. It really is like in the hands of Guri Sukanov. Luger is just a ragdoll, deadlifted into that back suplex and stomping Luger right down onto his face off the ropes. Almost 500 pounds across the ribs of the work ethic Titan. Headbutt though. Luger sees it coming, that veteran instinct, and a boot to the throat. The Yakuza kick. Back body drop. In response, soccer ball kick gets evaded. Luger tries to throw out a forearm smash, but Sukanov, jeez Louise, man. With no care for Luger's well-being, just grabbed him by the head and chucked him. The power bombs of Guri Sukanov, some of the deadliest that we have ever seen. And look at the stall, but the damage done to Sukanov's lower back, causing him to collapse, and that's when it created an opening. Luger tries to take advantage, but Guri keeping him at bay. Pinfall attempt off the lateral press, gets only a 1 count, wiping some sweat from his face. Guri going in for the kill. Countered by Bob Luger. Kick to the midsection, but he is not going to be strong enough to lift up that 400-plus pound frame of the Russian Ogre. Smart move by Luger, rolling to the outside to catch his breath. And Sukanov going to taunt him, knowing the pride of Bob Luger will get the better of him. But Luger, there he goes! The 400 pounds of Guri Sukanov! Coney Island Cyclone! Hooks that tree trunk of a leg. 1, 2, but only a 2 count. Luger with his hands on his head, momentarily stunned. He knows damn well that if he's going to win this match, he has got to go for the kill right now. While Guri is still stunned. Picks him up to a vertical base. Luger landing! Luger landing connects. Floats over. 1, 2, 3, and Bob Luger with the dub. Kind of an iffy ending there, because Luger's foot was very clearly on the bottom rope. I don't know if that was intentional on Luger's part. But if we get a replay, and if you missed it, you'll see that Bob Luger's foot was on that bottom rope after he hit the Luger landing. Again, I don't know if Luger even realized it, but that may have given him some extra leverage. Here we go right here, Luger landing, and you see Luger floats over. See, I don't even think he knew, but there you can obviously see his foot is on the bottom rope. Bob Luger with a much-needed win. And Xander Slate probably ain't happy about that outcome, but he's got to worry about Randy Borton later tonight. It is good to see Bob Luger back to form, though. Coming up next, guys, some singles competition as we are going to see Ashley Amell of Thunder from Down Under take on the Hit Squad's Danny Mac. And this stems from what happened last week on Aftermath when the Hit Squad took on Thunder from Down Under in tag team competition. The Hit Squad, after a hellacious match, came out on top, but put the cherry on top of that by attacking Jacqueline Hendricks after the fact. And if you recall, if you saw the match, Hendricks was very obviously hurt during the matchup. He was bleeding. I mean, he was covered in blood. And I guess Danny Mac, Marcus Wade, they just wanted to make a statement that they are still here in the tag team division. And so Hendricks, unable to compete, Ashley Amell called out one of the Hit Squad members for a singles match, and Danny Mac going to be the one to respond. So here we go, and what should be an exciting one-on-one bout. Shake my goddamn mother effing head, Suntan. The disrespect. From Down Under, taking the CM Universe by storm these past couple of months. Since debuting, they were unbeaten for a while until they ran into the Street Gods, who hold 2 victories over them, and they hope to get back to their winning ways, but instead the Hit Squad, able to best them, took it a little bit too far with that post-match beatdown, though. Hendricks got that bandana covering the staples he had to get in his head. Lost more blood than any person has any right to. And understandably, not able to compete this week, but Ashley Amell gonna try to get some payback for it. The Hit Squad had a whole lot of attention themselves when they came to CMV earlier this season. Kind of got lost in the shuffle. We hadn't seen them before last week in a while. And I guess they wanted to make an example of Thunder from Down Under, and they certainly did. Message sent. But now they're going to have to deal with the repercussions. And this is Danny Mac to the left, who will be in action. Marcus Wade going to park a seat at ringside. Ascendant 7 shaping up to be one of the greatest shows we have ever had here in CMV. And of course, tradition All of it will kick off with the 4th annual Slick B Memorial Battle Royal. And I received word earlier today, guys, from General Manager Jay Dynamite that match this year will not only be to honor the life and times of Slick B, but also will crown the inaugural CMV Internet Champion. A brand new title that will be defended weekly, stipulations and opponents voted on by the CMV Universe each and every single week, and the first ever champion will be crowned in the Battle Royal. 20 men, and these 4 have signed up to take part, so in a couple of weeks' time, could be one of them that brandishes that championship. Things gonna get started here. They're not thinking about the Slick B Memorial Battle Royal right now. Ashley Amell fixated on getting Thunder from Down Under back on track, while Jacqueline Hendricks watches very closely from ringside, as does Marcus Wade. Ooh, drop toe hold, may have chipped a tooth on the way down there. Forearm smash, rocks the jaw and up against the ropes. Not going to have anywhere to go. Looking out to dry. Danny Mac digging that knee into the upper back. Just telling him, get up. They're already slacking. I expected some competition. Playing those mind games. Punch directly to the face. Sends him out tumbling down to the outside. Sabotage trip, CNX fall. Another half and half suplex. Nope. Ashley Amell says one's enough. Thank you. Hits an elbow off. Clipped him right up under the chin. European uppercut to follow that. Back into the ring, and Danny Mac is in hot pursuit. Oh, punch to the jaw. Knocks him down. Hang on a minute. Ringside, we got a confrontation here. Jacqueline Hendricks and Marcus Wade laying hands on each other. Now, what's this all about? Referee Tyson is not having any of it. Jacqueline Hendricks has been ejected, but so is Marcus Wade. Marcus Wade is also out of here. Tyson ain't having it, man. Maintaining some order around here for once. So now the ringside area has been cleared. This is going to be a clean one-on-one match. No shenanigans. Back into it. Capture suplex from Mac. Goes for a pin, but not even a 1 count. Michinoku driver. Going for some elbows perhaps, but Ashley Amell. What just happened? Probably adding more fuel to the fire. Look at these punches getting let off. One after the other. Throws him into the turnbuckles and then like trash towards the center of the ring. There's clearly no respect on the part of the Hit Squad for Thunder from Down Under. That's been made very, very clear. Ooh, chicken wing gutbuster. Double knees to the chest. That's going to have Danny Mac gasping for breath. Clothesline kip up. Jawbreaker. In response, Ashley Amell, in his first ever singles venture in CMV, doesn't even have the ringside support of his tag team partner now, after he and Marcus Wade were ejected by referee Tyson. A great call, a very rare great call for one of our officials here in CMV. Leg drop to the arm, but arm drag by Danny Mac has him back in control. Picks him up from one knee, up against the ropes. No, just throws him out of the ring. Danny Mac saying to Ashley Amell, you are not worthy. We are the new team around here. That's going to be the next big thing, not you. Amell collects himself, front headlock. Playing around with him a bit. I don't know if that's such a good idea. You know, I'm just now realizing that Ashley Amell, bit of a thick bitch. I mean, come on. But the way that he moves, don't let his size fool you. Ooh, European uppercut right to the back of the head. And now Amell from the corner. We've seen this before. Spear! Almost cutting Mac in half. But that apparently ain't enough. Ashley Amell wants revenge, and he's going to get it with the air raid siren. Into the pin. 1, 2... But not a 3. Are you kidding me? Ashley Amell. Can't believe it. Mac hanging in there. looked out. He's slipping into the deep end. His head's about to go under the water. He's got to do something and quick to turn this one around. Ashley Amel's not playing. Up to the top rope. Not a place Mac wants to be in. He knows that he's able to reverse, but going to throw caution to the wind. I think he was going for a neck breaker. And if that would have connected, probably would have meant this match is over. Ashley Amel knew it too. Hip toss, overhand punch, fireman's carry position. Danny Mac getting dropped sternum first on the top rope. And Amel deadlifting him off the mat into a German suplex with the bridge to pin. And it still isn't enough. Amel's got to be starting to wonder, man. Is there any way I could take this guy down? Heavy Irish whip, back right off the turnbuckles. And now it's Ashley Amel saying, can you keep up? Another harsh Irish whip. Just ricocheting off those turnbuckles. Knee to the midsection. Turning him around into a hangman's neck breaker. Amel can barely stand at this point. I don't know if this one can go on much longer. Elbow busting Amel open, much like Jacques Hendricks last week in the tag team match. Danny Mac smells that blood, and he's coming for the kill. Oh man, Danny Mac looking to show Ashley Amel how they're doing in his neighborhood with the drive-by double boots to the temple. Good night, Ashley Amel. 1, 2, 3. Danny Mac victorious. The Hit Squad again getting the better of Thunder from Down Under. Tonight it was Danny Mac knocking off Ashley Amel one-on-one. An exciting confrontation. Something's got to give for Thunder from Down Under. The Hit Squad are going to relish in this one. And there's what did it, a drive-by kick from one half of the Hit Squad. As Jacques Hendricks and Marcus Wade were forced to watch from the back after being ejected. Question now is Thunder from Down Under going to let these defeats keep them down, or can they make a comeback? One thing's clear after this, man, the Hit Squad are marking their territory. Coming up next, guys, is that 8-man over-the-top rope battle royal featuring the 8 men who at Ascendant 7 will do battle in the Money in the Bank ladder match, that contract that awards the winner a shot at the World Championship anytime, anywhere. But right now it is all about momentum. Kevin Silva, Perry Heenan, International Champion Chris Proudfoot, Sam Valentine, Angelo Babos, Zero G Champion DRH, Jason Spade, and last but not least, the final entrant, Jaquan Shea. I can see all 8 of these men having a chance to win it big at Ascendant 7, but someone could maybe sway some of the CM Universe into their corner, maybe make some bets, finally give them a reason to lay down that money. Most of these guys do have prior experience in Money in the Bank ladder matches, them being Sam Valentine and Jaquan Shea. But right here tonight, there are no pinfalls, no submissions. The only way to be eliminated is by getting tossed over that top rope with both feet hitting the outside of the ring. Last man standing gets that boost of momentum. A match like this, certainly Battle Royal, has got to favor the bigger, like Perry Heenan, who is the biggest man of this lineup. But how will that come into play for him at Ascendance when it's all about climbing a ladder, more about speed and agility than anything else? Not that Perry Heenan isn't fast, but his counterparts are much faster. So here we go, all 8 superstars are piled into the ring, and at Ascendance 7, it'll be a much different scene with ladders scoured about. Just like here, though, there will be no pinfalls, no submissions. It's whoever can climb that ladder and unhook the briefcase that hangs above the ring that will be awarded that contract for a championship match anytime, anywhere. It's up to them when they want to cash it in. Kick to the midsection by Chris Proudfoot to Angelo Babos, who we've been butting heads with as of late. Last week in a 6-man tag team match, we actually saw the team of Jason Spade, Angelo Babos, and Sam Valentine knock off God's Chosen. Irish whip, Paul Throws. Meanwhile, Perry Heenan didn't just defeat Kevin Silva. Oh, who just got eliminated? That was, I can't see, DRH, DOG champion DRH, guys, is the first one to go over the top rope here and be sent to the back. DRH not been having a good couple of weeks, man. He lost to Jason Spade in that 2 out of 3 falls match, and then last week was attacked by Dada backstage before his scheduled match with Ozone. Maybe he could bounce back big time, though, at Ascendance. You never know. That comeback story. As I was saying, though, Perry Heenan last week, man, he just ran over Kevin Silva one-on-one. Kevin Silva been in a bit of a drought. Former Alpha World Champion. And there goes Angelo Babos now, guys, eliminated at the hands of his tag team partner last week, Jason Spade, the former rivals. And now Spade goes after his other tag team partner from last week in the Dream, Sam Valentine. So DRH and Angelo Babos have been eliminated. 6 men now remain. Juan Shea almost eliminated by Kevin Silva there. Shea we haven't seen here on Supremacy in quite a while. He's been spending most of his time down on NGW. And as a matter of fact, it has been confirmed that at Homebound over Ascendance weekend, he and Dante Tatum, his longtime rival, will team up. Eliminated is Sam Valentine at the hands of Jaquan Shea. As I was saying, the Jaquan Shea and Dante Tatum are going to team up to take on Corrosion at Homebound. So going to be a busy few days for Jaquan Shea. First that tag team match, then Money in the Bank. It was actually at last year's Ascendance that Jaquan Shea was a part of the Money in the Bank ladder match. And of course, just earlier this season, he won a multi-man ladder match to become light heavyweight champion. So he might have the most experience walking into the Money in the Bank ladder match at this year's Ascendance. Chris Proudfoot, the international champion, stomping away at Perry Heenan. I don't know how much of a good idea this is to put yourself up on the top rope. Kevin Silva now been eliminated. That is 2 eliminations now for Jason Spade. Taking out the former Alpha World Champion. That's a big elimination. And now to the top rope again. I don't know if this is an excellent strategy to put yourself on the top rope in the danger zone, if you will. Well, Jason Spade missed Chris Proudfoot, but he did hit Jaquan Shea, so you can't say that was an entire failure. And of course, we all know the history between Jason Spade and Chris Proudfoot. Gets cut short. Right there is Proudfoot going for the Claymore on Shea. Ooh, but Shea, well calculated, gets out of the way. I don't know if he wants to leave himself wide open like that, but that's his choice. Oh my goodness. Perry Heenan dropped on his neck unceremoniously. Look at these open palms. And Jason Spade now gets eliminated. That has got to feel so good for Chris Proudfoot. Not just because of what happened last week with Spade and his team knocking off God's Chosen, but of course, you'll remember earlier this season, Jason Spade in that Iron Man match at Validation to end their best of 7 series sent Proudfoot packing to Genesis. Elbow to the side of the head. So now the final 3. Perry Heenan, Chris Proudfoot, and Jaquan Shea. Will it be one of these 3 men who becomes Mr. Money in the Bank at Ascendant 7? International champion with a snap to the leg right there. Drops himself down to one knee, and Heenan has no problem taking advantage of the tired international champion. we get a leg drop. Bulldog Shay letting everybody know that he is feeling A-okay after the numerous attacks at the hands of Corrosion these past few weeks. Takes down the shoulder there. Perry Heenan, the Pitbull, who is my personal pick, not just to win this Battle Royal, but Money in the Bank also. And here we go. Jaquan just eliminated, almost hurled up into orbit. And now Heenan sets his sights on Chris Proudfoot, the final two, probably the two favorites to win Money in the Bank, honestly. If I had to pick anyway. And Proudfoot, we know what he was looking for in the corner there, trying to set up the Claymore. Perry Heenan wakes himself up, though, the former Anarchy champion, second annual Deadly Games winner. Modified vertical. Perry Heenan been, oh, look at that, the slyness of Chris Proudfoot, able to duck Perry Heenan's attempted clothesline, and the Pitbull essentially eliminating himself. Chris Proudfoot turning the momentum of Perry Heenan on himself and able to cause the elimination. Chris Proudfoot continuing his record of Battle Royal wins here in CMV. It's not too long ago he won a 8-man Battle Royal to qualify for the King of the Ring tournament. But tonight, he picks up a big boost of momentum heading into Ascendance, where he looks to walk out as Mr. Money in the Bank. It has been a very fortuitous few months for the man of God, and will that continue at the grandest stage of them all? If tonight is an indication, I believe so. Coming up next, guys, here on Supremacy episode 14. It was a few weeks ago that Paul Devine was the victim of a brutal beatdown at the hands of the Kings, Rob Cross and Chris Diamond, in the parking lot before an episode of Supremacy. And, well, we all know the history, the long-standing history between Chris Proudfoot and Paul Devine that boiled over, I guess, leading to that attack. Chris Diamond, I mean, part of me wants to understand why he's not in a good mood, losing out on his chance to become world champion inside of the Elimination Chamber at Purgatory and go on to Ascendance, not just as world champion, but at a shot to earn payback against PJ Moon. We know last year at Ascendance, PJ Moon beat him inside of the Hell in a Cell, and that was taken away from him. So I guess he saw Paul Devine as the perfect opportunity to let out all of that aggression and send a message. But I don't think either of them expected Paul Devine to be back anytime soon, let alone only a couple of weeks later. And it was Paul Devine who made the challenge, or accepted the challenge, I should say, that was laid out by Rob Cross. Rob Cross said, hey, we'll finish you if you want to at Ascendance 2v1. Let's do this. And Devine accepted like that. He is game. But tonight, he's got some words for the Global Phenom and the Baller as he calls them out to the ring. The 5-time undisputed world heavyweight champion, the Asian sensation, we all know, has not had a phenomenal season. Misstep after misstep, and not even to his fault at the beginning of this season. We know that Pat LaFave, when he was in charge of Genesis, screwed Devine every single chance he got. If I was supposed to walk into this season with a world championship match, but it got taken away from him, and he kept earning those shots, and just again and again and again, Pat LaFave said no. And after that, I don't know, I guess Devine kind of slipped into a slump, and he has been unable to get out of it. These past couple of months, though, we're starting to see that Devine of old peek through. He has been on his game. Chris Diamond, in his return to Supremacy, though, went one-on-one with Paul Devine. Might be another attributing factor as to why Chris Diamond chose Paul Devine as who he wants to take down next. Diamond was on the verge of defeating the Asian sensation. It was that interference by Harvey Hastings, you'll recall, that allowed Divine to turn the tide and win the match himself. Now, Divine is out here dressed to compete. He called Rob Cross and Chris Diamond down to the ring tonight because he wanted to look them in the eyes. He had something to say before their clash at Ascendance, but it looks like he's ready to go. And there he comes, the former CMV light heavyweight champion, Rob Cross, repping that Ashley Rain merch. I mean, who isn't a big fan of Ashley Rain, to be fair? Yeah, Rob Cross is probably just as confused as I am, and you got to imagine others are, because he didn't bring his attire tonight. You know, the Kings aren't set to have a match. Something tells me there's something fishy going on here. The Kings are still going to have that numbers advantage, though. I'm scared of what Divine might try here. I will say it is great to see the Kings back together despite how they've conducted themselves. I certainly don't agree with that. A couple of weeks ago, they were able to win a tag team match actually defeating the tandem of Harvey Hastings and Paul Divine. Last but most certainly not least, the Baller Bay, former undisputed World Heavyweight Champion. Ooh, looking very fly, if I do say so myself. Chris Diamond, after 8 months on the shelf, made his return to CMV in the Royal Rumble at Absolution. As I mentioned, in his return match, a bit of a slip up against Paul Divine, but he turned that around, defeating Harvey Hastings at Homecoming, and he was the pick for a lot of people heading into the chamber to walk out as world champion into Ascended 7 the same. But things very clearly not working out for him. Excuse me. Not right now, because there's stuff going on, but and Paul Divine calling the Kings out here for some words, but I don't know if he wants to talk. Is this a trap by Paul Divine? Hang on a minute, what's going on? Paul Divine says no talking, I'm here to throw down. Kick to the jaw from Chris Diamond and Rob Cross, and Diamond immediately using their numbers game to go after the Asian sensation, who didn't want to wait, I guess, until the show of shows to get hands. And look at these kicks, one after the other. Slip up by Divine, throws off a kick of his own, and this is exactly the predicament he's going to be in at Ascended 7, guys, although I don't think this is a match. At Ascended 7, it'll be a standard handicap match, and Rob Cross and Chris Diamond will have to tag in and out. This is just a beat down Paul Divine. I get why he did this, but I wish I could have talked him out of it. Someone could have talked him out of it. We might not even get that match at Ascended 7 now. The Kings could very well finish what they started a few weeks ago here tonight on Supremacy. Elbow to the top of the head and just thrown out of the ring. Rob Cross and Chris Diamond going to collect. Referee Tyson wants to do his best, but even he's backing away. He doesn't want to get in the middle of this, and I can understand why. Neck breaker by the Global Phenom, and a pinfall attempt here by Chris. Is this actually okay? I guess this is a match. It's supposed to be. It's okay, but a punch to the top of the head. Chris Diamond pulling him up to his feet. There's no... Oh, nice little dodge there by Divine, but immediately, as you can see, this is what that numbers game is all about. That's why it comes in handy. As soon as Paul Divine is able to get an edge on Chris Diamond, Rob Cross is right there to stop him from doing anything, and a hook of the leg. Chris Diamond leisurely dropping Paul Devine down onto the steel steps, and you can see the swag behind every single step that Rob Cross and Chris Diamond take, because they know, and it's true, that they're on easy street right now. They've got the numbers advantage. Single underhook DDT. Devine just dropped onto his head and back into the ring for all to see. Somebody should come out here and stop this, man. Diamond again gonna hook the leg. He says, hey, you want to send in someone to come early? So be it. We'll embarrass you again. Devine never one to back down from a fight, but man, something's got to give. Sit out face buster by Rob Cross. And look at Diamond now, hammering away. Absolutely no remorse. The drive-by kick, busting Devine open. And Rob Cross lays him down, hooks the leg. 1, 2, 3. The Kings have just pinned Paul Devine in the middle of the ring. Devine wanted words, but I guess in his own way, having words meant throwing hands. And I think anybody could have predicted this to happen, but Devine, that is true. He's a sucker for pain. Like I said before, never backs down from a fight, but I don't know if this is a fight he can win. Will he even make it to Ascendant 7 now? How many times can Gumbel say, I'm leaving in a record amount of time? Guinness World Record. Devine just got battered towards the end of that match there. And here's what did it. A drive-by kick. Rob Cross making the pin, just showing off that teamwork that made them former Fusion Tag Team Champions. This angle just going to show you that accuracy. Bam! I don't even think Devine saw it coming. If Devine does indeed make it to Ascendant 7, I don't know if we're going to see a different sight. It's academic. The Kings, another mark in the win column over Paul Devine. I don't think they're going to rest until he's dead. Coming up next, guys, believe it or not, already our tertiary main event here on Supremacy episode 14, and it is one of those matches that could very easily itself main event any pay-per-view, but maybe even Ascendance. Pierre Thompson and Brett Angel one-on-one for the first time ever. Yes, please. How much do I have to pay for this? Because I'm willing to lay down any amount of money. And then, look, still to come tonight, we've got our main event where PJ Moon is going to take on the 5-time undisputed world heavyweight champion Hayden. But both of these guys have some big matches coming their way at Ascendant 7. It has been confirmed that Pierre Thompson is going to exchange fisticuffs with Brian Jacobson, while, of course, Brett Angel will stare into the future against Shay Hoxton. A very personal match between those two, but this is a match that I myself, and I know a lot of others, have been looking forward to for a long time. A dream match for many. The big dog Pierre Thompson, much like his Ascendant 7 opponent Brian Jacobson, were hoping to leave the Elimination Chamber at Purgatory as undisputed World Heavyweight Champion. Neither one of them were so lucky in that matter. It was a couple of weeks ago that Brian Jacobson was scheduled for action, and Pierre Thompson came out onto the ramp and brutally beat him down. Pierre Thompson, we know before Purgatory, involved in a tag team match where Jacobson defeated him. And I guess wanted to take out that pent-up frustration of losing out on the main event of Ascendant 7 by going after the POV of CMV. But now it may backfire come the show of shows. Two of the men who are at the tip of the iceberg when it comes to that World Heavyweight Championship. Whoever wins that clash could very easily see themselves next in line. And both of them know that, you could be damn sure. Pierre Thompson not having any ordinary dick standing in front of him tonight, though. Perhaps I shouldn't say that. What's the name they like, a Jane? John, I guess. Any normal John, rather. He has got the outcast Brett Angel. Saw Brett Angel just a few weeks ago put down the returning Bob Luger, but on that same night he was confronted by Shay Hoxton, who had some very potent words to say to the outcast, but honestly, some that I agree with, and I think a lot of people in the CM universe agree with. We see in this season the mentality of Brett Angel slowly but surely slipping away, and Shay Hoxton, I think, said it best: you're becoming a husk of your former self. Hoxton, I think, is bringing that Brett Angel of old out of him. At Ascendant 7, Brett Angel said, Shay Hoxton, you're a rising star. Everyone is hailing you to be the next big thing, but after the show of shows, they'll be asking what happened to Shay Hoxton, and the answer will be Brett Angel. Probably one of the matches I am most looking forward to. The old guard versus the new breed, if you will. And Shay Hoxton versus Brett Angel. Both Brian Jacobson and Hoxton have the night off. Thompson and Angel, first time ever. Yeah, I meant to say like, just a generic name. I thought it was Dick for some reason, like Dick and Jane, but maybe I was just thinking about the Jim Carrey movie. I meant to say John. Belly-to-belly suplex there by Pierre. Oh, but look at this. I guess Brian Jacobson, even though he had the night off, has decided to show up, and he's coming down the ramp. Thompson's distracted Brett Angel from behind with a punch to the back of the head. Brian Jacobson, who laid down the challenge last week for a match at Ascendant 7. Look at how Angel delivers Pierre Thompson to Brian Jacobson on a silver platter. Brian Jacobson is yelling up at Chris Benoit's ghost. And it seems as though Jacobson is going to park himself a seat at ringside. Angel just keeps knocking Pierre Thompson out of the ring. Jacobson, I don't know what he's thinking. Yeah, rethink that. Pierre Thompson tries to grab at the feet of Brett Angel. Angel's like, get that shit out of here. I'm honestly a bit upset because I wanted to see this match one-on-one, clean for the first time ever. But Jacobson coming down here to maybe do a bit more homework while simultaneously trying to throw the big dog off his game. And like I said before, when you're up against someone like Brett Angel, you've got to be 100% focused on the task at hand. European uppercut by Pierre Thompson, and then a Michinoku driver. Grabs that leg, middle of the ring, but only a 1 count. And now the full mount, raining down some lefts, stomp to the midsection on the way out. Neither one of these guys want to show any sort of weakness heading into Ascendant 7. Deadlift. Sit out, gut wrench, powerbomb. Quite a mouthful, that one. Stomp to the bicep now by the former International and United States champion. Pierre Thompson been on a tear this season. Recent victory over Andrew Briggs, was the first man this entire season to defeat Andrew Briggs. And look at this distraction at ringside from Brian Jacobson. Going to again allow the Outcast to seize control. Oh man. That torture rack backbreaker spun out into a single knee gut buster. Thompson's able to react quickly though, grabs the leg, shoots him down into a dragon scoop. Scoop slam. Brett Angel looking to close that distance. You know, Brett Angel, I think himself has also been looking forward to this match. It wasn't too long ago, about a month or two, that he called Pierre Thompson out for aligning himself with Xander Slate. And we all know that there may not be a man on this planet that Brett Angel hates more than Xander Slate. Xander Slate originally wanted to, or I should say Brett Angel originally wanted to face Xander Slate at Ascendance. And we know Bob Luger got there first, and Shay Hoxton came out and said, no, you're not facing Bob Luger at Ascendance, you're going to be facing me. Oh, play of the day, right smack on top of the CMV logo, middle of the squared circle, got a very close 2 count. This would be another big notch in the belt of Pierre Thompson, further proving why he should have been a world champion a long time ago. We talked about it before. He's one of those guys that you would put on the Mount Rushmore of superstars that should have been a world champion by now. Distraction by Brian Jacobson. Your referee Tyson did such a good job earlier tonight when he ejected Jacqueline Hendrickson. Oh, hang on, Blackest Night! Blackest Night, just that quick, man. Brett Angel can take you down 1 and 2, just nearly there. 0.999999999. Pierre Thompson saving his own skin. Brett Angel should know better than to dilly-dally. Inverted atomic drop into the scoop slam. Follows that up with the deadlift dominator. I don't think Thompson's used to being manhandled like this, but Brett Angel is much his counterpart on this night. You can see a lot of similarities between these two. Vintage Angel, the Cobra Clutch, Russian leg sweep. Here, Thompson trying to keep his head above the water with that short arm shoulder block, and now it is he who has his finger on the trigger. The highlight. 1, 2, just a 2 count. I hope Brian Jacobson is taking notes, man. Here, Thompson holding his own against someone the likes of Brett Angel. The POV has got his work cut out for him. And yes, he does hold the victory over Pierre Thompson. That was a tag team competition. 1-on-1, it may be a whole different ball game. Elbow to the jaw from the corner. Brett Angel gets himself a chance to breathe. Up on the top rope, no sort of place Pierre Thompson wants to be. Got to find a way out of this one. But Brett Angel, we've seen this before. The half Nelson suplex from the high rent district. Yeah, I don't think Pierre Thompson's getting up from that. 1, 2, 3. Brett Angel victorious. Definitely got to give a nod to Brian Jacobson with the assist, though, providing many distractions throughout that match. Referee Tyson should have gotten on him and ejected the POV like he did Jacqueline Hendricks and Marcus Wade earlier. And I guess we can only ask for so much out of our referees. We know they're not too bright. It's very rare that we actually see them make good calls, but Brian Jacobson further getting under the skin of Pierre Thompson. I don't know if Thompson's the kind of guy you want to anger, though. Although I'm sure he's already not the happiest camper. Brett Angel continuing to look like $1,000,000. And it's like I said before, Shay Hoxton may be bringing that Angel of old out of the Outcast. We haven't seen in a long time. Feel that firsthand at the grandest stage of them all. Oh, what's this? Brian Jacobson gonna pay homage to Brett Angel, offering a handshake. alliance that would be. They both got some really nice pants, so I'm sure they appreciate that about one another. Up next in our co-main event, guys, before we finish off the penultimate edition of Supremacy with Ascendant 7 on the horizon. PJ Moon one-on-one with Hayden. It is now Xander Slate's turn in the Pick Your Poison. To kick off the show, we saw Bob Luger defeating Xander Slate's pick of Guri Sukhanov. And look at who the work ethic titan sends the show's way. None other than the Moo Moo Man, Randy Borton. We have not seen since Xander Slate turned on him, effectively ending Click, and is a big reason why Bob Luger came out of retirement, trying to give Borton his own chance at revenge before Luger finishes the job at the show of shows. Randy Borton and Xander Slate's careers have really been intertwined since the beginning of CMV. Friends, foes, but these past couple of years, their relationship became much more. They were brothers. Xander Slate said he was sick and tired of Click, and more specifically, Bob Luger dragging him down. Look at what happened. When Bob Luger retired, Xander Slate became king of the ring. And he said he had to trim the fat, if you will, aligning with Pierre Thompson and taking out Randy Borton and Chris Adams. Randy Borton looking to send Xander Slate into the arms of Bob Luger with a stinging loss. Well, Xander Slate coming out here tonight without his crown. Can you really be a king without your crown? And where is it, you may be asking yourself? Well, it's in the possession of Bob Luger. Last week, Xander Slate was on the Osiris show. But little did Slate know, Osiris had also scheduled another guest, that being Bob Luger. And as soon as Luger showed up to the studio, heard what Xander Slate had to say, not some very kind words, beat the hell out of him all around the studio, and to put the cherry on top, took his crown too. Xander Slate trying to come out here still acting like a king. You're no king without your crown. Slate said that himself. That's mine. I earned that by becoming king of the ring once I was finally out from under your thumb. Randy Borton, Bob Luger's pick tonight in the Pick Your Poison. Xander Slate disrespecting his former brother on Twitter, saying, "That's who you send my way? I gave you the 500-pound, 7-foot-tall Guri Sukhanov, and you give me a broken Randy Borton?" Saw how effective Sukhanov was, though, earlier tonight against Luger. Randy Borton. Luthez pressing some right hands, cracking down onto the jaw. Which, yes, Sundan. Clothesline sending Slate down to the outside of the ring. Randy Orton on his tail, not letting him run away like Slate did last week. Wow, Luger confronting him saying, hey, you say you're ready for a fight, let's do it right now. We don't have to wait for Ascendance. Xander Slate, though, of course, saying, I didn't run. I made a strategic decision to conserve myself for Ascendance. Throws out a punch to the jaw, forearm smash. Going for another Enziguri. Xander Slate says, I don't think so. Back into the ring, both men continue going after each other. Modified vertical suplex. Vertical. What up, J-Rod? Forearm smash to the chest. Randy Orton with a back suplex. I gotta say, Orton, we haven't seen in a couple of months, but doesn't seem as though he has missed a step. Pressure to the corner. You gotta also realize he is fueled by vengeance tonight. Bob Luger, his real brother, willing to come out of retirement to make Xander Slate pay for what he did. But Orton got to handle his own business too. And a roll into the crossface. Sharp kick to the shoulder and then a stomp in the middle of the back. Randy Orton grabbing the ears. Irish whip. Once again, running up on Xander. This time an Enziguri to the back of the head. Lateral press, just a 1 count. Xander Slate not looking exceptionally hot right now. Orton's dominating him. Gator roll again, the crossface. Slate no stranger. Doing what he feels as though he has to progress his own career. He's had many friends, but many more enemies, and a whole lot of people he has turned his back on. Leaves you to wonder why people to this day. Brett Angel said it himself last month. He said, why do people still trust Xander Slate? Look at his history. When he was speaking about Pierre Thompson. Orton throwing Slate face first into that steel post. The OG Dirty Heel slithering back into the ring to get himself some breathing room, but that does not last long. Go home driver by Slate. Immediately picking him up, launching him into the corner. Another Enzu lariat. This is the co-main event, J-Rod. Snaps the leg forward. Orton is taking pleasure in picking Xander Slate apart. You know, Luger's watching very closely to see if Randy Orton inflicts any sort of injury Luger can use to his advantage at the show of shows, but a Porto went right here. That's going to injure the ego of Xander Slate. 1, 2, but only a 2 count. Might not like Xander Slate. I certainly do not, but he is a tough SOB to put down. Orton knows that full well. Trying to go right back on the attack. Slate sees an opening. Randy Orton sends it back his way. And to the top rope. Orton's not a man you'll see frequently flying, but when he does, it is usually that beautiful HBKS elbow drop. No, a frog splash. I don't think I have ever, in his many years here in CMV, seen him do one of those. Beautiful, though. Only gets a 2 count, however. Kick to the gut. Randy Orton. Powerbomb setup. A little bit of a stall, but took too long. Damage to his lower back. Coming around to bite him. This has been entirely one-sided. Randy Orton exhausted from how just ferociously he has been whooping Slate pillar to post. Xander's wily, though. Never discount him. Come back. Oh! Slingshot back. Elbow. Orton is not just back, baby. He's better than ever. Working like a well-oiled machine here tonight. Xander Slate can't keep up. Another go-home driver. Hands on his hips. Orton's got to take a couple of seconds to catch his breath, saying, come on! Threw away years and years years of brotherhood. Borton is letting it all out tonight. Or like I said, Bob Luger looks to finish the job at Ascendance. Snap there by Slate. Finally getting some offense. A Kenka kick. Now cave in the skull of any normal person. 1, 2. Close to the tres, but not quite. Slate. Looking Borton right in the eyes as he launches him off the ropes. BFT. Up into the air and back down again. Face first, chest first, into the mat. Winds up a right hand. Borton sends it back at him though. Kicks in the midsection before Borton can get off that Porto end. Goes low. Shades of Hall of Famer Paul Anderson with a spine buster. There's that right hand again. Xander Slate keeps looking for. Sweet move music, baby. Borton collapsing as he gave it his all there, but into the pin as too much time been wasted. 1, 2, no. Those precious couple of seconds allowing Xander Slate to stay alive. Otherwise, this one may be over. Finally gets the right hand. Some real oomph behind that. And in the blink of an eye, it is Xander Slate who's lining up his shot. The OG Dirty Heel with the clean slate. 1, 2. Xander Slate. A bit of a meltdown as Borton kicks out by the skin of his teeth. STF by Randy Borton, a maneuver once used by Xander Slate. And Slate may have no choice but to give up, but indeed he does not. Setting himself free, trying to go after Borton. Look at the way that the Moo Man moves. I'll say it again, man. I don't think I've seen Borton this good in quite a while. Certainly this season. A third go-home driver may do just that. Sends Xander Slate home. But he's able to get out of it and dodge that kick. Hangman straight jacket neck breaker. Borton turns to the crowd. Stomp on the arm. Slate is really a man you can't take your eyes off him. There's a single man who knows that in this world. It is Randy Borton. A couple of clotheslines into the tilt-a-whirl single knee backbreaker. Drops into the pin. 1, 2. May have just been exhaustion there. Borton hoping and praying that that would have been enough for the 3 count, but Xander Slate walking into a European uppercut up against the ropes. Hey, come here often. Oh boy, disaster kick. Some might say a beautiful disaster. And the third go-home driver. Borton's not content, though. Not only does he know it's going to take more than that to keep Xander Slate down, but I think he wants to prolong that pain, which you can understand, but at the same time, Xander Slate is not the guy you want to give some time to make a comeback. Any little tiny slip-up, Slate will pounce on, but he may not get the chance. A second Porto end. 1, 2, 3. Randy Borton victorious, and that had to feel real good. So the pick your poison going well for Bob Luger, as earlier tonight he defeated Guri Sagadan, but now Borton puts down Slate. Meanwhile, Slate gonna head to the back, but his beating is far from over. Sentence 7 is where it all goes down. The end of Click once and for all. Alright, my fine feathered friends, it is main event time here on Supremacy number 14. PJ Moon, one-on-one for the first time ever with the A-lister Hayden, the five-time undisputed world heavyweight champion. There isn't a much bigger challenge for PJ Moon than Hayden heading into Ascendant 7, where he is still set to challenge George King for the undisputed World Heavyweight Championship despite what happened last week. If you missed it, PJ Moon was supposed to go one-on-one with Reese Ortiz, but George King presumably beat down Reese Ortiz backstage, threw him out onto the stage, and took his place. Earlier that night, PJ Moon had hit George King with a chaos kick, and I don't think King was having any of it, so he got a bit of an early Ascendant 7. George King challenging PJ Moon to a match right there, and then Moon accepted, and, well, it may have been a mistake, because in the end, King put him down, pinned him after 3 royal flushes. George King saying, "You're not even worthy now to challenge me in the main event of Ascendance. You are a peasant, and I proved it." But per winning the Royal Rumble, PJ Moon has a contractual right to main event Ascendant 7 with the title on the line. And I don't want to make excuses for the guys, but PJ Moon wasn't prepared for George King last week. He was prepared for Reese Ortiz, and he let his emotions get the better of him by accepting George King's challenge. He should have said no. Our match is scheduled for Ascendant 7, but Moon ain't the kind of guy to back down. And you can respect that, but at the same time, PJ Moon has a lot of people wondering if he deserves to still headline the show's shows. If he can beat Hayden here tonight, I think that'll quiet a lot of them. Moon has been busting his behind these last few months, ever since winning the Royal Rumble, defeating world champion after world champion in preparation for King. The likes of Kevin Silva, finally beating Andrew Briggs a couple of weeks ago. Now it's just a matter of whether or not PJ Moon will let that loss last week get to him, or if he can push it to the side and focus on the goal at hand, and that is Hayden. Somebody who you cannot dilly-dally with. The five-time undisputed world heavyweight champion who's got his own date set for Ascendance against Dante Tatum. And might be the match I am most looking forward to. That and Shea Hoxer versus Brett Angel. And there's a lot to look forward to, most certainly. Hayden is a man who has main evented 3 Ascendances. He knows very well the kind of position that PJ Moon is in. A few years ago, Hayden won the Royal Rumble. He went on to Ascendance 3, defeated Justin Sane for the undisputed World Heavyweight Championship. Hayden has made it clear in the past, though, that he does not respect PJ Moon. Moon kind of set a shot at him earlier tonight when he was entering the arena. Walked past him and Paul Devine while they were having a conversation. Moon also had some choice words on Twitter saying, "You're just going to have to accept this L tonight, Hayden, because there's no way I'm letting you get one over me." I don't know when you left, Soul, so I don't know what you missed, but Brett Angel beat Pierre Thompson after an interference by Brian Jacobson. What was the match before that? I don't even remember. That vintage dashing memory. What was the match before that? I literally don't remember. Genuinely have forgotten. Those fried brain cells. I'm just focusing on this, alright? I'm not thinking about anything else but our main event that's about to go down, because it's one you cannot miss. PJ Moon, Hayden, one-on-one. This is must win in the minds of many. PJ Moon can't walk into Ascendant 7 with another loss after what happened to him last week. Modified Northern Light Suplex. Hayden is going to try to end this one in record time, but Hayden knows a lot about matches ending in record time. Lost to Peter Thompson last year at Ascendant 7 under 2 minutes. Anyway, side of headlock takedown. PJ Moon sending a punch to the face. Both men back to their feet. Hayden sends out a kick out of instinct. Now pushed into the ropes, collar and elbow tie-up. Will we get a clean separation? Moon takes the cheap shot. He knows that Hayden doesn't respect him, so why would he respect him back? Oh, that forearm smash accidentally hitting referee Tyson. Lucky that he's lenient, doesn't call for the bell. Could be over by disqualification. That would be a shame. Overhand punch to the back of the head. Elbow to the jaw. Leg sweep. Bam! Face first down to the mat. I'm a ding-dong. Yeah, Borton and Slate. Forgot about that. That was the last match. Borton beat Slate after quite a match. I think it was all we thought it would be. Those two in the ring against each other. Flapjack on the outside. And Moon, very sensual in his offense. Oh, boy. I don't know if Hayden's going to be a fan of this. He's not conscious enough to say anything about it, though. It's clean punches getting through to the eye, it looked like. Count of 5 by referee Tyson. Have until 20 to get back into the ring. Some small punts to the face. Back into the ring we go. Count of 7. There's that discus knee strike we have all come to know from PJ Moon. And he is setting up for the chaos kick. Hooks the leg. 1, 2. I don't think any of us are much surprised, though. PJ Moon shouldn't be. Hayden is one of, if not the most resilient superstars in CMV history. I would personally say the most. There ain't a tougher guy to put down. Just keeps coming at you, tenacious. Goes for a clothesline. PJ Moon with a go behind. Takes him down with the reverse DT down onto the knee, and then the Hangman's neckbreaker. Another pinfall attempt. PJ Moon wants to put down Kitely as quick as he can, and that's an understandable strategy. Hayden is really a caliber of superstar you can't prepare for. There's so many ways he can beat you. The most lethal of all, that Hollywood hold of his. PJ Moon been dabbling in submissions himself as of late, trying to be his absolute best for George King at Ascendance. I've seen him in that performance center every single day, training. He knows the position that he's in. Another discus knee strike, another pin, and PJ Moon has just pinned the 5-time undisputable heavyweight champion. Is there a bigger way to come back from what happened last week? PJ Moon was caught off guard by George King last week, but he just proved... Oh, hang on a minute. George King is coming out here to rub in what happened last week, continuing to say you are not worthy to face me at Ascendance, but PJ Moon's not having it. Once again, Moon is falling in this trap. Not again, Moon. Compose yourself. Get your emotions in check. You just had a match. George King's nice and fresh, but he just keeps talking that trash. And here we go. Another brawl ensuing between these two. Throwing hands in security. Referee Tyson pulling back PJ Moon. Security guards handling George King. George King breaks free, though, and the brawl continues. These two want to tear each other in half. But they're going to have to wait until it's that. Jade Dynamite is not having it. Alright guys, thank you as always for tuning in and watching along with me. If you enjoyed what you saw and you're new to the show, make sure that you drop that follow so that you know when I go live. Those cheeky notifications, and most certainly you do not want to miss this next week, guys, on the build-up to Ascended 7. So excited. And Aftermath will be live a little bit later tonight. I'm going to have to, probably about half an hour or so. But if I do not see you then, I will see you when I see you. I hope you have a fantastic weekend. Bye.